Hello and welcome. It's the Curious Pigeon here, and today we are taking a look at Thunderlooper at Alton Towers, so I hope you enjoy. Now, I was inspired to research this coaster after hearing the strong rumours at the end of this season that the Blade swinging ship may no longer be operating at the park, and it stands where the Thunderlooper used to be, so down the rabbit hole I went. Now, the Thunderlooper was a shuttle loop coaster manufactured by Schwarzkopf, and it opened at Alton Towers in July 1990 within what was known at the time as Aqualand, and it cost £2 million. It had actually been around since 1977 when it started life as King Cobra in the King's Dominion Park in the US, before moving to another US park, Jolly Roger Amusement Park, and keeping the same name. It had a short track, but it sounds like it still packed quite a punch. Now, the ride vehicle was launched on a straight track and into a vertical loop, going up into a spike at the other end, before running backwards through this layout and back into the station. And from what I could find, the maximum speed was 53 miles an hour, but it is also said that the speed was greater in wet weather. And the height was 137.8 feet to be precise, and it was 722 foot long. Now, the launch method itself was a little different to others, and it was known as a counterweight catapult system. A weight would drop hidden within a tube in the spike at the far end of the coaster, and a cable would get pulled as a result, which was attached to a catch car on wheels, and the train would start moving along at speed. There were some physics involved, which was never my strong subject, and that is my very basic explanation of the launch system. So, this type of ride, of course, only runs one train, but one train did seat 28 people. And the ride did have short queues at Alton Towers, and capacity was high, with it managing to take 1,400 visitors per hour, all being well. This coaster was only at Alton Towers for 6 seasons and was only ever granted temporary planning permission in the first place, according to online sources. There were a number of reasons the ride was removed, and as you probably already know, Alton Towers is not allowed to build anything above tree height, and this ride could unfortunately be seen over the tree line, with the loop stood 10 metres above it to be exact. Some people did say they loved being able to spot it though on their way to the park, and it must have been exciting to see. It really did live up to its name, Thunderlooper, as well, as it was a noisy ride that was not welcomed by locals. There was a rumour that it caused nearby cows to calve at the wrong time of year, but who knows if that is actually true. It is also thought that the opening of the Alton Towers Hotel in the 90s led to further noise complaints when it was tested before park opening every morning. And I also read that the loop had started to crack. Now, if this was true, it can't have been that bad and must have been fixed, as 1996 was not the final end to this much loved ride. Thunderlooper reopened at Hopi Hari Park in Brazil in 1999 and was renamed Catapult, and from what I could find, it is still there. There are also a number of other shuttle loop coasters still operating across the world if you fancy giving one a try. So, what remains of Thunderlooper's existence at Alton Towers? Well, you can still see some of the footprint that it took up, with the blade having been operating in its place, roughly where the operator's cabin and sort of the main station area used to be. And the blade also used some of the queue line. And Ripsaw slash Project Ocean was slash is placed near where the ride was positioned. And if you go to the roller coaster restaurant, where they feature past and present attractions, which I think is amazing, you can sit in seat number 8 on any one of the tables, which commemorates the Thunderlooper, which I did back in May. And with the pots of your food and when your order comes down, basically, they have a ticket attached to them with your seat number, so you know what's yours, but also there's a photo of the ride and a brief history about it. And I think I kept about 2 or 3 of those as a free little souvenir. Now, as you can see, we've got the blade here, and this is roughly where it used to be. I mean, we know that this area has been further developed, and when the Thunderlooper was here, of course, air did not exist. Nemesis did, whilst the Thunderlooper was still around, but we know that it sort of stood along here. Now, I thought that we would just have a brief look and see if this will work. If we can get to the Hopi Hari Park, I have no idea if I'm saying it correctly. But here we are. Now, this place looks so nice and bright and colourful. I love it. It just looks really inviting, and it does look like there's some good rides here, to be honest. Now, let's just go over here because I can already see it. Over here, Catapult. It's near something else called Jambalaya. So there you go. Now, this is imagery supposedly from 2024, but even if that is slightly off, this is definitely, I'm pretty confident, from the 2020s. So you can see the station here. You can see there's the bit of a spike that end. So it would have sped along here, through the loop, up the spike, and then back on itself. And then I'm guessing it would run back through, up the spike a little bit, and back into the station. I also just wanted to share this POV footage of Catapult at Hopi Hari so that you can get an idea of what riding this ride would have been like at Alton Towers. There we go. There we go. Up the spike. Ooh, that is scarily near the end, isn't it? And then you literally just go back on yourself. So some might say it's simplistic. I think it looks great fun. You know it's going to be a short, sharp, but fun ride anyway. When you're waiting in the queue line, you can see what's going to happen. And I just think it looks like a fun ride. And this just shows you the big symbol here and all the nice red. I do think it looks really effective, really sort of cuts the skyline. It looks great. But I did also find a little bit of retro footage from the 90s of the Thunderlooper. So let's just have a little look at this. Now, this shows you the launch system. So that's the spike, and then there's the weight coming down. And you can see the coaster reaches all the way near to the top of that spike. Now, having not gone on a coaster like this before, I can imagine seeing that you're literally getting to the top of that spike must be a bit scary, really. And it's crazy to think that the park looks so different. Obviously, we know it does, but it's hard to imagine the Thunderlooper there because I've only ever seen the blade in this area, and the whole area has changed so much. You know, this was Aqualand when it first opened for this coaster, the area it was in, and then it turned into Thunder Valley, which really went well with the name Thunderlooper, considering the coaster had thunder in its name before the name of the area changed to Thunder Valley, and then it became Forbidden Valley sort of a bit later on, I believe, after this ride went. But yeah, I know it's a short ride, we can see by watching this footage, but I must admit, this does look a lot of fun. And I'd love to try it. I really would. But that's it. That's my whistle stop tour down memory lane about the Thunderlooper at Alton Towers. I really enjoyed looking into this one. And the list of resources I used are in the description. And I plan to look at other past attractions in the same way. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.